For the trustees of Ellsworth Township, this is January 12th, 2011. I want to call this meeting to order by establishing a quorum by roll call. Laura Lewis.
Here.
Artie Spellman.
Present.
Kirk Morrison. Here. I want to open the meeting by a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like a motion to accept the minutes of the December 8th meeting as written.
So moved.
I only have one motion for all both meetings in the organization.
No, we have two meetings. Okay, I'll have one motion to accept.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the December 8th meeting minutes and the December 22nd reorganizational meeting minutes.
As written.
I'll second that.
Okay, could I have a vote on that? Laura Lewis?
Yes.
Artie?
Yep.
Kurt, yes. Unanimous.
Is that two different motions now? Or is
That's
that one
one.
There's
motion?
one motion to accept both of them. Let's start with the financial report and also zoning appropriations transfer that will be retroactive to the 1st,
To the 22nd.
the 22nd of December.
That's transferring $10,000 from the general fund to the zoning fund as we do every year.
Okay, for the appropriations, I believe we need a
Well,
motion.
we need a motion for that zoning.
Do I have a motion for the zoning transfer?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to transfer $10,000 from the zoning fund retroactive for our reorganization
To December 22nd.
to December 22nd.
I'll second that.
Okay, need a vote. Laura Lewis?
Yes.
Artie Spellman?
Yes.
Kirk Morrison, yes. The vote's unanimous.
Okay, financial report as of today, the balance in the bank is $507,762.36. Vendor's report is up here in front of each trustee in case anybody wants to see the checks that were written the month of December and up until today for January. And that's all I have.
If I have a question. For the, in our reorganizational meeting, you had broke out the remaining balance of the fire department, basically using the categories, expanding it into the categories that they had asked us to do, and giving for the next 2 months, first quarter of 2011, the remaining balance and breaking out basically a budget for them. Do you have that? I meant to ask you because you've had it with you at the reorg.
Yeah, I did. I didn't bring it tonight, though. The appropriations.
Yeah.
For the temporary appropriations, what, $258,000 or something?
I wouldn't know what I mean is taking the remaining balance, what was it, 16,000 or what they had left from 2010.
They had 11,000 left. Well, wait a minute.
You had it like hand penciled. The only reason I'm asking, I thought it would be beneficial to give Bob a copy of that.
I gave Bob a copy tonight of everything he spent since January 1st. And then I gave him a copy of what was spent in total for his expenditures and his receipts for 2010. That's this sheet, Bob.
Yeah.
That shows what you had taken in and spent. And then I gave him a printout of this month to date.
Okay. What I thought, I only saw a glimpse of it. You kind of hand wrote in, and you were going to appropriate certain amounts for like, okay, we've got 11,000, say, to spend in this first quarter. That's all we have left. So, what do we see our heating bill being, or like?
Well,
I thought you had it, but I just.
Well, I will give you a copy of the appropriations and the temporary.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Maybe that's.
Actually, when I figured those out, I put in all the figures the fire department had given me, because they seem to have theirs locked in place, where the rest of the funds, you can, three of you can jiggle here, there, whatever, wherever you want to put the money. But Bob's was locked in, because he gave me that, and Margaret's. So his is probably actual, and the rest are just temporary. I will see that you get a copy of those appropriations.
All right, I'll take a look at that. I just thought we had something we could say, okay, well, here's the first quarter, here's what money we have left, this is what we have to make on first quarter 2011, and here's what breaks down, heating bill coming in is going to be this much, this, and then get Bob a copy of that, so he knows, what we got the first quarter.
He knows because I gave him a
Okay,
copy tonight what he spent.
I understand what you're saying. I have,
Okay.
yeah, $3,165.74 for fuel.
But if fuel goes up to $4 or $5 a gallon, that's really going to kill your budget.
Oh, we'll have to deal with that when it happens.
Yeah.
So, good. Okay, well, yeah, I guess, when you get a moment, I don't mean to ask for a million reports, but throw it in my mailbox.
Okay, do you have any more? Thank you. Maintenance report from Kurt.
We had talked last meeting about the smell of the water here in both buildings. Contacted DNR Water, Danny down there, and about flushing the system out. He said that there was probably some, it probably needed flush because it's been so long. Most of us don't have, or none of us have holding tanks. We have a bladder tank, it's a pressurized tank. Over in the garage is a 125-gallon holding tank. And what happens is algae gets in there, and it does run through chlorine. Chlorine runs through it. But what happens is the chlorine actually kills this bacteria, and then it settles to the bottom. It dies. And underneath, in the holding tank itself, there's about an 8-inch pipe, and all this gathers around it. Well, you can open the water, and nothing comes out except nice water, except, right at the beginning there's a little bit. So you have to drain the entire tank all the way down, fill it with air, water, air, water, air, water. And this is what we got out of there. This isn't even a good example. This is a bad example of what came out at the end. It's a yearly process that needs to be done once a year. It just happened, it caught up to us really bad, and it hit just like that. People were coming in and telling Vicki at the post office that our sewer was backed up. That's how bad it was. And there's no water even in that area, so that's even worse. So that got flushed out. The problem we have so that's good, everything's good with that, that's back to normal. We had some discussion about the spots on the fire equipment and that. We did all the testing while I was here. Our water is actually very soft. Our water is 10 grams per million is soft. I'm not a chemist, so. Regular city water is 20 grams. Ours is 10 grams. Ours is much better than actual city water. The problem we're having is the heavy metal salts, exactly. Heavy metal in the water. Where regular reading would be 400 parts per million. We're actually at 997. The only way to get rid of that is reverse osmosis. And I don't think anybody is going to invest that kind of money for that. We're talking like $20,000. The water, always comes back. The tests come back great. It's great to drink. We're going to have to put up with heavy irons and metals in the water. Also, the heat trace was installed over the roof here above the fire department, and so far it seems to be working good. That was actually an all-day job. Ended up being about a 7-hour job. So that should stop that ice buildup there right in the corner. Received and sent in the 2011 operating permits for public sewage for the fire station and garage. Got that back. Dr. Chief, Pete Morbito is using the hall here for case kindergarten screening 23rd and 24th of March. I did an inventory of the important items that we have at the garage and shop down there at the cemetery. Those have been passed out, and the trustees and NIP have those. I have seen an increase in the sheriffs coming around quite a bit more often now using our internet. And, they're here doing their reports, and there's guys I haven't seen for a long time. So that seems that worked out well. Cemetery report. We've had 2 interments first week of January. I've got one again tomorrow. That's 3 in 10 days. It's unfortunate. But, went back and looked at 08. We had 6 interments. 09 we had 7, last year I had 11, and we're off at a bad pace. I called around, this is for the trustees, called around and talked to the other cemeteries. No one around here does funeral with one person. It's a safety issue. It's not a workload issue. Matter of fact, in the beginning when Jim Brown comes, he's here, that's not when I need someone. It's when everybody leaves. Unlike the time when Artie helped me with Mr. Young and we had 2 funerals in one day. The family stayed, the people from the funeral home stayed. That's not normal. Usually what happens is everybody leaves. Jim Brown, he just digs a hole, we do our thing, and he's gone for the day in the morning. I'm looking at it as a safety issue for myself. When I'm by myself at the very end, dumping the load and filling it. No cemetery around here, none of the townships use just one person. And I'd like to request, just help for that one time. Whenever a funeral is, I would like to have a person on job. When Bill was around, Bill had Larry Arnn for 5 years, had Bill Wilson before that, and Jerry Grace used to send Brad down. So there's very few times that Bill actually did a funeral by himself. Again, it's not a workload issue, it's a safety issue for me. I think that's fair.
We had the list that we made for when we...
There's one kid's gone.
Well, we had beyond that, we had...
Yeah.
Where is that list? It would have been... I'm trying to think. We'll have to look in... I went to that list, I'm sure we made a list and had not only just the 2 kids that we hired, but then we had 3 other people beyond that.
Yeah.
So of authorized, like,
yeah, that's why I
part-time
brought
help.
that up tonight.
Okay, we'll get that.
And that's really all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, where do you see the safety part coming in there?
Safety part is a 4-foot by 7-foot by 6-foot deep hole. Number one, working the equipment by myself, back it up with the headstones, getting in and out of the truck, seeing where I'm at. You can't see it in the truck. Then dumping it, when you got the tailgate, you got it's and like I said, from North Jackson there's no one that does one person.
Okay. How long would the second person?
Well, see, that's what gets goofy is because last funeral I had was Saturday. Lane didn't show up for 3 hours after the fact that they were supposed to be here. And things happen. That's more important for them. That's not my, I'm the least of their concern. But there are times where things don't work out to it, and they never do. They don't. It's not like you're catching a plane. The family gets there, the family talks, they talk, they don't come out, the funeral home. So
would it be an all-day affair? Or
more or less it would probably have to be. To be fair to the person, that we can't have them come out for 2 hours. Who's going to want to do that or even, expect $14 to...
I've never worked that process. You have already.
Yeah, I've probably worked dozens over the years. And there is a post and a pre and a post involvement as far as traffic, as far as the driveways, as far as the there's more to it than you would think.
Yeah, it's not a hard job. You just have to know what you're doing and where you're doing it for. But it's the end that really becomes an issue. Especially if so far, I've been lucky in the fact that most of these have been on close by the roads.
Yeah.
Once you get into the center of the cemetery, or even like that one we had with Mrs. Bell up at, we were in
Keeper.
we had to drive the truck into the cemetery. Way up top. So that's my concern. And when Jim's there, I really don't need anybody. But he leaves, I come back.
Yeah, you have to fill in and
and then family usually leaves. We'll put the casket in the ground, and then they leave, and then there I am. So that's where the work comes
Why
in.
don't you have Jim Brown come back?
We fill it with the truck. It isn't that,
you need to, all you do is back the truck in and dump it.
But why not have Jim Brown do both ends instead of hiring another person?
Well, the thing is, with Jim Brown, I would think we can get I don't know. If we have our part-time help we're talking to from pay scales, I think, or
I would think so, yeah.
Jim Brown's going to...
It'd probably be more expensive to have them come back or use his dump truck.
By the time you pay workers' comp on another employee, though, and like he said, he wants at least probably 8 hours pay for the day. Why would anybody come out for less? Why not just get a price from Jim Brown?
I'll talk to him tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I got another one.
Okay.
May I ask you a question,
Yes.
Kurt? You said you had the system flushed out. Was that a company, or did you do that?
That was DNR.
Pardon me?
DNR Water down here in North Jackson.
Are we going to get a bill from
Yeah,
them?
you should already got it. It was $120.
Oh, I haven't, but thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I have.
Follow through. That was getting all the things, staying consistent, thanks.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
costs.
We still have that list of?
Yeah, I think we do somewhere.
I remember some of the guys.
I think it's in the minutes, too. Actually...
Okay, we'll look into that. Zoning inspectors report?
From last December 2010 up until yesterday, we had 9 phone calls that were returned. We had 7 visitors with questions. We had 1 issue that was referred to the zoning appeals. We had 3 that were questions to the zoning commission. Follow up also, we had a breakdown for 2010 on the amount of permits that were generated, with including new construction. The amount was just over $3,400. I gave that report to the zoning commission last evening. We also, during the year, had a land use presentation that was sponsored by the commission. That seemed to go extremely well. We had real good citizens participation with that also. The other couple issues that came up during the year, we also had representatives from Mahoning County Lean Forward program, and they are putting those initiatives together right now on vacant properties and properties that go into foreclosure. The other issue that came up twice during the year, there were seminars that were held with Berlin trustees, and also one in Austintown. I attended one of those, and that was relative to Marcella Shale, the regulations that will be going on with that are current, and the ones that are going to be changing in the next few weeks through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. Also, at the last December meeting, Laura had a request about some detailed reporting that I do, and to update that. Currently, we have 1 current issue that is going on into the township right now that came in at the end of October. That was the Leiden complaint. That issue is still going on right now. That's in the hands of the attorneys. And right now, with the request with legal counsel, that's all I can speak about it at this time. I also gave that same report to the commission last evening. I've also looked into a number of reporting items that are dealing with public records. I have those. I'm reviewing those also. If anyone in the township, on any of the commissions or the boards, would like any copies of any complaints that are filed, those are available upon request. And while there's a current investigation that is pending, I won't be able to speak on that at this time. For right now, that concludes this part of my report.
I got to tell you, thank you, because I was going to ask you. As we discuss things and it goes back and forth, you're never quite sure how the other person may hear what your message is, or if you really got your message across. So I was going to ask you tonight, what did you hear me say? And I'm glad that you headed off and went into that, saying that that those open records, when somebody makes that complaint, come to this trustee board before they go straight to Mark Fenimore's office. So when you get that complaint, the complaint doesn't head directly to Mark Fenimore. It comes here to our desk before, and we authorize, not me personally, obviously, in this one I won't be the one, but this trustee board will authorize outside legal services or prosecutor, whatever the complaint may be. So we want to hear anything that comes through your office. That's the important stuff.
And just one more thing, I also have a copy of our current complaint forms that we are using.
Good.
I have those available also.
Because as we do not act on something unless somebody signs their name to it and says, hey, this becomes now a public record of Ellsworth Township. So someone just wants to walk in and complain, we don't act on it until they give us that document that becomes a part of our township business. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Larry.
I've got a question concerning this drilling for the oil with this Marcellus wells and whatever. Do they have to come before zoning or any of you to lay out their plans or anything like that? What is the procedure, I guess I should say, if there is one in place?
Okay. Through the chairman, Larry, what I've asked, we've gone to, because we're a zone community, we would like to see the plans and to protect the citizens here in Ellsworth. We've heard a lot of misgivings on some of the quotes that were given initially and some of the monies that's transferred since. And one of the things that I suggested on a couple of phone calls that I had received, seek their own legal counsel when it comes before they sign anything, just to make sure they're getting the best benefit for themselves, but also that the township can be protected at the same time.
Okay, so what you're saying is basically a transaction or anything that is involved with them and the landowner. It has nothing to do with the township itself.
Through the chairman, under our current regulations, the way they are, that's permitted through the state of Ohio, through the Department of Natural Resources. In some instances, through the PUCO, but that's not something that we are involved in. But as a courtesy, we have asked them if they would come in front of us.
Out of curiosity, has anybody have they been in Ellsworth Township yet?
I'm not aware of anyone at this point that has. I know in Berlin there's been many already, but they're very busy. I don't know how many people have gotten phone calls. I've probably talked to 5 or 6 people that have already gotten them.
Has anybody in here got a phone call concerning the sale and their property?
All I can say is that the oil companies have already got leases on your property, the ones they're dealing with. They don't even deal with the homeowner.
Yeah, they can go right to the leasing.
Yeah, they go
leasing.
to the, and that's who they're dealing with, as I understand.
Okay, Crime Watch report?
Last month, we patrolled 671 miles.
Does crime go down when it gets so cold?
Well, it's been pretty good. No, not necessarily. There were 11 instances between our township and Berlin in December, 4 of which were in our township. 2 telephone harassments. We had criminal damaging, and then on the 6th of January, we had a robbery on Galt Road. They took guns and money. So we've been pretty consistent, about 4 incidents every month for about the last 6 months. So whether it's because we're out there, I don't know.
Thank you. EMS report.
EMS report, the squad is essentially fully in service. We did do our first 2 transports Saturday. Thank you. One was a motor vehicle crash on Palmyra Road in Ellsworth Township, and it was a non-Ellsworth resident transported to St. E's Austintown. Second one was a call in Berlin Center where we backed up Berlin Center on a rollover, a non-township resident that we transported to St. E's, Maine. We, budget-wise, I believe we were at, we spent approximately $32,000 of the original $35,000 that were approved. We still have, there should be an outstanding bill that we've not received an invoice yet because it's not, the computer charting is not fully set up. That $1,700 that we will still be receiving on that. We also need to install cameras to monitor the squad since we will have some controlled substances on there. Just following in the state's guidelines on how to, they have to be double locked, which they will be, controlled access, which they will be, at just that next level of security that the state recommends. It's not a requirement. But, so we're probably looking at somewhere between $600 and $1,000 for approval for cameras for that. And we also would like to get a computer system for EMS record keeping to start separating EMS into its own function. And we're probably looking at another $500 to $600 for that.
It's a software program you can buy.
But that will just be the computer itself.
Okay.
The software will all be, is pretty much all in place now. Other than that, everything's running pretty smoothly.
Thank you for that report, Dan. I'm glad that we're putting that equipment to use helping people. Fire department report, Chief?
All right, since our last meeting, we had 1 structure fire. We had 1 good intent call. As of today, we have a total of 2 service calls on alarm drops, 3 emergency medicals, 9 motor vehicle crashes. We had given mutual aid 4 times to Berlin Center and Milton between them. We received mutual aid twice from Berlin Center. We had 3 civilian non-fire injuries, and our hours of maintenance runs, drills, approximately 220 man-hours for the month. As you know, we were on our way back from the fire in Milton, and we reported last month about the tire problem on 47 on our 1995 engine. One of the tires went out, so we had to stop, drain the water. We limped home. We had to purchase tires for that truck. The tires are 15 years old, so they were time to be replaced. And we knew that, but like I said,
What was that bill for this?
$2,200.
That was for 6 tires?
That was for 6. It was for 6 tires mounted and a rim. So we looked at their Flint tire come out to the station because we didn't want to drive it anywhere else once it was in the bay. And what we ended up doing is Flynn's come out to the station, change the tire, and change the tires, put all 6 on, and basically I think they charged us it was $180 for a service call.
But the service call included mounting and everything of the
Correct,
tires.
yes.
It really don't cost that much for them to come out.
Well,
You would pay $10 mounting and $10 unmounting even if you took it to them.
Right. So
Did you get a bill?
I did not get a bill yet.
And they took the old casings?
Yes, they took the old tires. And fortunately, unfortunately, I mean, obviously we can't put recaps on there. It's against regulations to put, FPA regulations to put recaps on there, so we have to purchase new tires. So, and Ken already touched on the transporting of 2 patience this past weekend. The Mahoning County Fire Chief Symposium is coming up on the 30th, and they always do great lectures, great training. Last year, it was the art of reading smoke, teaches the firefighters how to, look for different. They bring chiefs in from other cities, such as New York, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and they charge $25 a person. And I'd like to send 6 to the symposium on the 30th. I'm going to skip over 4 for a second. I want to just touch on, Margaret and I worked on yesterday, actually, we worked on a grant for equipment. We put in for new rescue tools, rescue equipment for just a little under $15,000. Was it, Margaret? Oh, she left? Okay. Just a little under $15,000, and we sent it was a state fire marshal grant. And we also spent time going through the training records that NIP provided all the receipts for our 2010 training, and for reimbursement from the state for that. So there's some good money coming in for that.
How much was that for reimbursement of that?
I was like $5,000.
I think we should be getting that back.
Yeah. Yes. Let's see. The other thing, I from the smoke trailer, the flashover trailer, I billed Berlin Township for their 2 firefighters that attended, $50 per firefighter. And at one of the fire classes, they broke a pipe pole. One of the training classes at the Youngstown Middle School, they broke a pipe pole during training. It was our pipe pole. Mahoning County Career and Technical Center reimbursed us for the price of a new pipe pole for that. So I submitted the bill to Mahoning County Career and Technical Center, and they sent me the check for the equipment that was broken. And then last but not least, I'd like to introduce Dean Stevens as I'd like to ask him to be accepted as a probationary firefighter. Dean lives in Ellsworth Township at Berlin Station and Rolling Hills. And he's been part of our new regulations. He had to pass the physical agility. He had to come in with physical exam, pass the physical agility, attend one of our association meetings, attend some of the drills, things like that. And he's here for everything. And like I said, he fits right in. He's going to be a good firefighter.
Welcome. Thank you.
Now, there was a chief you were just in the money we're asking just for that fire symposium that.
Correct, $150.
And that would be total $150, which on each,
right,
including every firefighter that you.
That's 6 firefighters, total $150 for the day.
And if we put that motion in accepting the firefighters also.
Right, the probationary and the tires and symposium.
You will.
Put all those together. I'm asking for a motion to accept Bob's report with the expenditures.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the $2,200 expenditure for the new tires. It also includes the sending 6 firefighters to the symposium at $150, and it also includes approving the new Dean Stevens as a probationary firefighter.
I'll second that one.
We'll vote on that. Laura Lewis?
Yes.
Artie Steve?
Yes.
Kurt Morrison, yes. The vote's unanimous. Unfinished business?
Mr. Chairman, before you go into unfinished business, I had a note here I forgot to ask you. Kurt's still here too, back in the maintenance. We have been talking about the cemetery water pump issue. I just wanted to make sure we kept that on the agenda and trying to solve that this year. So
Yeah.
we
don't have an update today, but it's still burning.
Yeah, where to from here? Where was our next step, or where are we?
Well,
I know you had H2O.
yeah, I'm going to get some feedback from him on 3 different proposals. Rebuilding the well with a hand pump. He says with a battery pump we could go that way, or run an electric, just 220 on a pole from the street back and put a dry hydrant in with a pressure system.
So he's on the hook for a quote to us?
Yeah, I got to follow through on that.
Okay.
Okay, with that we'll move on to unfinished business. We're still working with Samurai Oil trying to get some funds recouped from them for the spill we had. Artie, do you have an update on the LMI?
So I talked to Anna today, the attendant sent us down there who administered those applicants. I've taken it clear up to December 28th, trying to get applicants processed for her. I did get a phone call somewhere in between about addresses if I knew. So there were some checks that have gone out. I've not made that my business who got the checks in. It's just made it my business that every candidate gets a shot at getting approved here. So she said she would make a report and give it to me. She was in a meeting today when she called me back. So hopefully our residents got some money on that, and hopefully we use that whole thing up.
Okay. We're going to have a report on the town hall repairs. We have a small moisture problem where moisture's coming up through the floor in the one section in there, and we had one price for remediation. Did we get any more quotes on remediating?
Yeah. When I went and looked at the town hall, there's actually two sections where we're getting water, and there's one like right in front of the trustee's desk, and the floor kind of is heaved, the concrete. So there are these vents in the sandstone foundation. There's like a little break in the foundation. It's some sort of vent. And I think as the water dumps off the top of the roof, it comes out, it makes this like crick right there, and it seems to be going in at those vent locations in the two spots, because directly on the inside of the town hall is where we're getting water. You see water marks on the carpet, and then in the back we have the moisture problem. And so if you get a chance, check out those. You can see them, there are vents down there, and if you want to stop by and take a look. But I think that's where it's coming in. It's kind of like flowing right across through those. Okay, so I had Clay Construction come out and take a look as well. And Larry had a good thought. He said, you need to kind of define the work area, because the quotes that we're going to get are going to be very open-ended if we don't. Nobody knows what's behind that paneling. It's very hard to tell. So I had to sort of break it down in this step-by-step thing as far as, maybe we first open up that work area, and we could then bring people in to quote it when they know, and we get hard numbers, and we know what the work involves. It seems to be, I looked at it more carefully, of course, when I was in there with Ken, and the paneling comes, I don't know if it goes the whole, up to this, it goes the whole length of the room, because we've got drywall that comes down over top of it. And then there's the chair rail, the molding that kind of blends the two surfaces. So it looks like if we were to have someone come in and pull that off, we have to cut the paneling, pull off the chair rail, cut the paneling across, and then pull off that judge's paneling. So that's kind of like the first thought, is if we wanted to go with actually knowing what this is going to cost us and bringing people in to do the quoting, we're going to have somebody come in and open up this work zone and see how far, how much of the wall we have to repair. I will call this, because I figured getting 3 quotes would probably be good. I had All Action Restoration, they do that kind of work too. But I didn't call anybody else because I didn't know which way we wanted to go with this. Ken is, a little bit more about him, I guess. I picked up his card off the bulletin board at the Campfield Home Savings Bank, and he falls a little closer to home. Actually, he actually went to Western Reserve. He graduated from Campfield High School, though. He does the State Farm. He's an independent, obviously an independent construction, finish carpentry. But he does the State Farm in Canfield, their State Farm office. He does a lot of their insurance work. As far as references, if you guys want to check up on this guy. He'll work for, because I asked him, he quoted the job here, you can have a copy of that, but I asked him, what would you charge us, just give us like an hourly rate to pull off the judge's panel and open up this work zone if we want to go that route. And he said he charged $30 an hour to do that. My thoughts are, when you go with somebody kind of independent like this, you don't have the overhead, and you're going to have less costs involved, I think. That's probably the benefit.
Does he have the ability to remediate whatever's inside there?
He gave us a quote to do that.
Okay.
So you can, read this over. I'll make that a copy for you. But he also works for Charles David Design. He's a home builder. He did all the inside finish work for him. And then Jason Reichard with State Farm, he does all their insurance work. So some good references. Seemed like, and this is the funny, because the Clegg name, the Cleggs that went to Western Reserve, he's their cousin. So it's interesting.
What kind of quote did he give us to do the whole job, opening so many feet and remediating the interior of the wall?
Did you want to disclose?
Well, we won't disclose that now in case
we're getting more estimates here.
You're
We
right.
kind of want to. But he also, I asked him about hanging gutters, and you had said that you can't do that.
Well, you'd have to have such a large one up there to collect that water. It could be done, but what we were looking at was building a collection system with washed gravel and putting it along the outside, right where the water falls.
Right, but if we keep the water away from the building, that is, I think, the best.
Either we do it up there or down below. I don't know how well it would work up above with that style of roof.
Well, he said,
Nobody said whether they could do it or couldn't. There isn't much overhang there or wood there to hang. They were talking about bracketing. We may have to put on a wall, carry a gutter and stuff like that. So we'd have to have it looked at by
Did he make any suggestion
Yeah,
on the
he
gutters?
actually quoted putting gutters on, because I asked him.
What would he do with the drop then?
Well, he's got the gutter in the downspout. Now, where we want to run it, we'd have to look at it and decide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those vents where the moisture's coming in, how close are they to the ground surface?
They're right there. Yeah.
So you said that before about maybe grading it away a little bit.
Well, and what happens is where we have the moisture problem now, the siding's almost touching the landscape.
I looked last time you mentioned it.
And I'm certain it's showing up at one place blatantly now, but there's more places the way that type of construction has been done, and as old as it is, and not ever have any gutters. So
Yeah, because it was originally designed as a fire station, without the carpet and so.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we have to get more. And one thing that I think we're talking about in a type of bonding insurance is we need the expertise to know what they're getting into and what they're doing there. Certainly open this up in doing carpentry, construction and stuff, but we need expertise as far as what's in there and how to remediate that. So.
Well, and I put a call into Zinn's too, because their quote was very vague. And, it had to be because nobody knows what they're looking at. But even at that, he's got 50 square foot. He based it on just a very small area, and I think and I think most carpenters that would look at that, it's not just that small area. It's pretty much that whole wall. Go ahead, Larry.
I think it's going to be difficult to have one person look at one thing as a whole and size it all up. I think what Laura's bringing about, which I did initially, nobody knows what we're into until we take that wall down. Mm-hmm. Whether we got to bring special entities in or what, but we got to get that wall down first. So if we have a quote on tearing down that wall and replacing it, no matter what the cost is, at least we know we have that cost covered.
At least you're right, Larry. It's opening up, it's not tearing it down, it's opening up and then see what we have.
Okay, so we know we have to do that to begin with. Tear the inside out and replace the inside back up. Without a doubt, we don't know what's behind the wall.
Right.
That will be an extra cost.
Okay,
but you won't know that extra cost until you take the paneling down.
Right, and that's, I called Zinn's to ask them for the same thing. What would be your hourly rate just to open it up, just to, for letting us look at it a little better. And I hadn't gotten a phone call back as of yet, but I just figured, again, looking at somebody that's got some overhead and versus an independent guy that does finished work. He gave us a quote at $30 an hour. That's what we know so far. So if we want to wait and see,
Okay, how many hours would he estimate it would take that, the whole, from one end to the other?
to tear it down, I didn't ask him that. I'm not sure if that paneling is it nailed or fastened to whatever's behind it there, latch or whatever, or is it glued to it? I mean, we don't know.
Because this is quite different than new construction.
And he, again, it looks as though the drywall comes down on top of the paneling, and so the paneling would actually have to be, it's going to be cut.
Probably take that trim board off,
Yeah,
cut it,
and then pull it off of there.
and it has to be put back on.
Right. But like I said, there's we've got some references, and I don't know where to from here. Yes.
One thing to keep in mind, if the guy doesn't work for State Farms, that's always good reference, because I would rather have insurance work done. When the guy gets done, he doesn't get paid until you're happy with the job. So if he comes over to Kurt's house and there's damage in the kitchen, he fixes it. He isn't getting paid until Kurt and his wife sign off that they're happy with it.
Right.
So if the other guy's done something for State General, he's kind of in the habit of satisfying the customer if he plans on getting paid.
Well, let's make a decision on opening that up, and then we can have 3 or 4 companies come look at it and do their bid. But I think that's how to break this down.
I don't know, would you feel
Make a
comfortable
decision.
giving this guy the job of opening it up, or?
I'm asking you guys.
It seems the more entities we get involved with it, the more cost we're going to get involved also.
Well, and see, that's the thing. I didn't want to ask for anybody else to come in and quote this because it's so open-ended. It doesn't make any sense.
Right, so we need to open it up to see so we can get it from the guy.
And right. I mean, and you can take a look at his estimate here. And, he'll.
The estimates are really on what he doesn't know that he's even got into yet. We need to open that up and look at that, and then have those groups come in and look at it and say, what's it going to take to fix this?
Okay, do we want to give this guy the job opening that wall up, take the paneling off the bottom from one end to the other?
I think that makes sense.
Or while he's taking the paneling off, we'll start in the back, and if it cleans up halfway down, maybe we'll stop there, because the grade does drop as we go back. Mm-hmm. And we kind of determined that sandstone is very porous, and it's absorbing the moisture, and it's blotting up into, or wicking up into the wood.
I don't know if I don't think it's wicking anymore. I really don't. But you never know.
Do you want to have him start in the back?
Yeah, and you know what he said is he'll go cut into it, and like I said, if it's glued, and he's got a.
I don't think it's glued.
I mean, you never know what we're saying. But he will, before he has to. If there's something unforeseen, he would give us a call.
Yeah. Well, we got to give him whoever we give the job to, they have to take the wall down and put it back the way it was. Because we're proud of that building.
Yes, but if it's not able, like I said, if something's unforeseen where it's glued or something, and he can't pull that paneling off without cracking and breaking it or something.
Well, that's something we got to deal with.
Then he's going to stop where he's at and give us a call. That's what he told me. He doesn't know. It's cold in here.
Did you want to make a motion?
No, we need to just, in the discretionary spending we're doing, going to say we can agree to hire this guy at that rate to take that, open that wall up. I certainly think we need to line those other companies that come up then and look at what they feel needs to be done then.
Okay, and also we'll get some more
hiring
quotes
for that specific part of that job, and that's that. He may get the second part of it, the last part of it, but Kurt, you can be there, you can help, possibly get some sweat equity with you involved in it. Maybe we can
also
keep the hours down on it.
The companies, whoever takes the wall off, we want them to put it back up.
Yeah.
And be responsible for the finish work. And, start in the back, and if it clears up before we get to the front, that's as far as we need to go.
Here's his card so you guys can contact him. I would like to see it.
Do you have a written quote or anything?
Yeah, I do. I'll make some copies.
Yeah, I'd like the copy.
Okay, and then also we'll get copies on putting gutters on there and what kind of gutter they would use. Then we'll have to determine what kind of we think would be best for that, and just do the one side. And then from there, we'll determine what type of gutter would look right with that, because that type of building, usually they just put that small 3-inch half round on there, which doesn't carry a lot of water.
There's two things that are more involved in that, just not the functionality of the gutter, and then the aesthetics too. I don't want that building to change the look of that building when it
No.
looks like we don't want to put some
Brown gutters or something like that.
Yeah, we don't want to change your water guard.
When you keep mentioning about tearing the wall out, and I'm curious, a lot of times, if they originally did that whole wall is, do you know if that's drywall or plaster?
It was probably rot lat, with probably.
Well, I mean, that could have been all the way down to the floor, and then they may have glued or possibly put battens up to fasten the paneling, and then a chair rail molding on top of that. So if that paneling does come off, there may or may not be plaster underneath it.
I'm going to stop over and talk to Bill, see what.
What's underneath?
Yeah.
Even if we know it's in there, we're going to have to hire somebody to open that up, take a look, and then we'll get into it.
Well, while we're having a meeting, we want to get on with this thing. So, do we have the authorization to hire this gentleman for $30 an hour? So
I'll make a motion to hire Clay Construction at the rate of $30 an hour to just initially open up the wall in question in the township.
and agree to put it back when we're done.
We'll make it company we're hiring.
Yeah, the company we're hiring.
We just want it the way it was. Yes, we'll stipulate that with all the companies we have coming here.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Have a vote on that?
Yes.
Artie?
Yes.
Kirk, yes. The vote was unanimous, so we'll look into that this week and proceed on with that. We also have unfinished business with the budget.
Okay. Nothing really, new. I just wanted to kind of keep it on there as a running update. What I want to try to do is, as I work through each fund, just give a sort of a little report on 2010 in general fund. We spent X amount of money on legal services. We spent X amount of money on their insurances, and so coming soon.
Okay, thank you. Under new business, next month we have a OTA winter conference in Columbus. Unfortunately, it falls on January 14th, 15th, and 16th in Columbus. So I would like to attend those meetings in February.
Right here's the calendar. It falls here.
Okay, the OTA meetings are 9th, 10th, and 11th of February, which is a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is also the second Wednesday of February, and that would inhibit us from having the meeting, but inhibit us from going to the winter conference because the meeting's more important. I would like to attend the meeting. I learn a lot down there, and I've got a lot of information, and hopefully brought back some information that saves us some money down there. I would like to attend. Laura, are you going to?
I'm not going to go this year.
Okay. Artie?
I'd like to go.
Okay.
Yep.
I would wonder, Nip?
Yes.
So I was wondering if we could change our meeting to the 8th, which would be the second Tuesday next month.
A day earlier.
It'd be a day earlier.
You can't have it in this room, it gets down in these rooms.
Well, we've talked in the zoning, could meet in the zoning office or Bob's office if need be. We've discussed that already. So that seems to be a date that works out better with everybody's schedule, and then we would be able to attend our conferences.
February the 8th at 7?
Yeah. So, is February 8th at 7 o'clock good for everybody? Yep.
Do we want a motion on that, or just understood?
Well, I'm looking for a motion to change the date of our next meeting to the second Tuesday, which is February 8th.
So move.
I'll second that.
And need a vote. Laura?
Yes.
Artie?
Yes.
Kurt? Yes, it's unanimous. And then the trustees also have a meeting with the county engineer's office, which will be Friday, January 14th at 8 a.m. That's this Friday. So we'll be going down to the engineer's office and see what roads we can, see what they have planned for our roads.
And of course, we'll give a road report at that time, and if anybody had died in there, when they're called, if they go to the order, that they've seen anything blatant that we can report. I've already started compiling a road report that we do give them. So,
And do we need, on that road report, okay, what else needs to be done, or what have you done?
well, kind of what happens is
I know what happened. Oh, I'm
if
sorry.
somebody wants to be specific about it, they say there's a pothole, they like to know the house number in that area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just can't say the whole, Duck Creek Road terrible. And
The whole Ellsworth Township.
yeah, they want to know.
Well,
So,
what I'm asking though is, what have you done, and do we need to split this up in quadrants, or who's taking care of what?
yeah, I've done Palmyra Road, Galt Road, Gibson Road, Galt Road.
It's kind of hard to see with the snow on it. Well, when it snows, but it's not.
I just didn't do it last week. I've been doing it for about a month.
I mean, I have two
So
things to bring
then,
to them too, but are we going to break this down in some way, or who's handling it?
How many roads have you done already?
Probably about 5 or 6.
Okay. We'll split some roads up.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, well.
We don't have to do that now.
Already email the ones that you've done,
Okay.
and then we'll split it up.
You and I will get on the computer and
Yeah.
split up the other roads.
Tell us which roads you've done and which you've covered in the appendix.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, with that done, we'll go for the good of the order. Start with Bob.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay, sorry. I'm ahead of myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I was ahead of myself, I'm sorry, I skipped. Review the order.
Okay, we'll do for the good of the order. Where we at? Kurt?
I forgot during my little speech, we had a couple phone calls and a couple comments about how we worded our holiday greeting, which was, they were impressed. I mean, it sounds little, but it was different than they're used to seeing.
The holiday greeting.
Yeah. And they
How
like,
did we word it?
Merry Christmas.
That's good, I like that.
And we also had happy holidays to all. You don't see that anymore, and I got a couple calls from people from not in the township, left voice messages.
Okay.
Fred? How you doing? Karen?
One of the roads you should consider is Deal Road.
Deal Road?
Oh, yeah, from 45 west to Haley. It's one large pothole. Okay?
From 45 to Bailey?
I can
Bob,
verify
you could
that.
verify that? Okay, Bob.
And February 6th, there is a pancake breakfast for the fire department, 8 to 1.
February 6th? Talk to Kurt and we'll get that on the mark.
And will you have the pump functioning at the cemetery by the time they're, I don't have anybody in there, but by the time they're planting flowers? Is that the game plan?
We hope to.
Your soul might do too.
Sandy?
Yes. Was anything else done about the Ellsworth Presbyterian Church as far as, hooking up or anything that you dealt with the...
Last I talked with the engineers, they said that they had to get the contract signed and get them up to the commissioners. And we kind of mentioned it with the commissioners when we had a chance, and they said that they're ready to sign them. So it's the same story we got the month before too. But as far as the Presbyterian Church, the deals that we worked out, I think they're all in place. And I reminded them about the grinder station and everything for the extensions at the county level, and they said they'll be there.
And I didn't quite hear right. Has any more money come in for the people that to get hooked up?
No, there's not any more money coming in. It's getting that money that has been appropriated, $44,000, that those applicants qualify, and then their application be processed and okay to move forward. So yeah. As far as some of the more people getting done, I told Sandy I took them down December 28th for applicants to try to get them through. I don't know what came back to the individual. The contract had been sent to those people. She didn't have that report. If checks have been sent to individuals, I'm assuming that, and I'm careful to do that. I did get a phone call about if I knew there was an address change for somebody that they were trying to get a check to. So,
does anybody know of anybody?
Individuals that haven't got the paperwork done right, or?
And there was one that the paperwork wasn't done right. One of them that was late. One of them that was lost. So keep working hard on getting all these people's.
No, the money has come through, but there was two that had said that they hadn't heard anything.
And some of those will get a full contract and whatever that means, the full amount. So.
Yeah. If they hadn't heard anything, they had mentioned it to someone that none of that, they hadn't been called or left know anything.
Always she would say to me without officially saying that this person's approved, this person's approved, that person's approved. And I did get the phone call about someone's address about getting them a check. So.
Yes, because some of the money of us that have paid has come back to us. And
So they have released some money.
yes, for the ones that had paid, these other ones are waiting to be hooked up that have mentioned it, that they hadn't heard anything. And I was asked if I had received my money, and I told them I did. And and that's a thank you to you, Artie, that you did get this going, and I do, and a lot of the other people appreciate it too, that you did do a lot of work for that. And anytime anybody does anything, they should be commended for it. You might disagree about something, but when somebody does something too, you want to give them thanks for doing it. And that's why when somebody disagrees up here, it shouldn't be taken as, I'm after you about something. It's just a difference of opinion, and everybody can still have a right feeling about one another. But it was appreciated, and several of us have got our money back.
That's a good point you make, Sandy, because, we have different ideas, and it is that difference and difference of opinions that's going to make it better. So it's to challenge somebody is not because you have a vendetta for them. Challenging the way we have done things is a good thing. That's how we can be better in the future.
And I do appreciate, because you know how hard I did work, and I appreciate you saying that. But I do know the difference when some people have a physical difference and people physically bumping into me and screaming at me and conducting themselves at meetings in certain ways too. I love different opinions. I can debate with the best of them. And as a matter of fact, I try to put a funny spin, humorous spin on it. But
we can debate things, but we still can leave here with right thoughts.
And you know what, and part of that, part of what I wanted to say when we were talking about, you made your application, you followed through. Some people are slow to do that, and you got to prod them. And I'm just involved in some of the things that happen trying to get these people up. I mean, they have an obligation to fill those things.
That's right.
They have an obligation to follow through, and sometimes they don't do it at the vigor that you have done it. And you deserve credit because you're one of those people that was there in front, asked many questions, during this whole process. But had you different opinion, you asked many questions, you attended all the meetings. That gives you the facts, and that gives you the right to say things. Sometimes people say things and they don't know any of the facts, and some of the people want things and they didn't do anything on themselves to get that. So the group of people you're with, we commend it too. So.
And also about this sewer thing, they had another thing on the radio. And the EPA has now put on, I believe it's Cuyahoga County, the man's sewer, whatever they're doing up there, every 3 months his bill is $500. Or what the EPA has instituted. So they are doing a lot, they are getting after people about all this stuff. So it's going to come whether people like it or not.
I think the enactment of the SB 110, which we did get a copy of synopsis, I think it was 50 pages of that synopsis. And so it's a lot to read just in that part. And even when you talk to Board of Health, they're not very clear on how exactly this thing's coming out, but certainly we can believe. And if everybody knows the story, what happened in Lordstown here, they had put sewage in one part of their township, the other half they didn't. The people clamored, they wanted, why should they pay for it? They got some bonds to do it, and they got some grants to do it. Lordstown got it in, the people on County Line Road on the other side of North Jackson now are being mandated to tie in. But their cost isn't what the Lordstown costs are. Their costs are through the roof. It's the nature of the beast, and I think
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out, because as Margaret brought up in the last meeting, the governor's coming in, and it's going to be a whole shakedown. There's no money to fund a whole lot of programs, so we'll see where we go with what.
Let me close my eyes real tightly and clearly see that it's going to cost people more money.
I commend Sandy, along with, you being very punctual about doing all your applications and getting things done. You helped a lot of your neighbors, too, which is commendable. Thank you. And, Chuck? Rita? Where are we at back there? Anything? Dean? Tim? Lee? John? Sandy? Larry?
Add Leffingwell Road from Duck Creek to 45 on that list.
And Berlin
They're
Station.
tar and shipped in quite feel the craters.
They promised us that they were going to fill it and grade it before they tarred and chipped
Yeah,
it.
I was there. 5 minutes up and 5 minutes back. They were done.
Look at that fast.
Yeah.
That is not county efficiency either.
You ever put water in a hole and didn't run over it? What happens? That's their tar and chip job.
Anything for the good order? Okay, with no further business, I'm going to adjourn this meeting without...
Yes, we got a few announcements.
Okay, announcements? Woodstock?
Yeah. Well, first I wanted to thank Western Reserve News too. You've been coming to every meeting. It's really a nice resource. I know a lot of people have used it and been out, and they've emailed me and asked questions about the meetings and stuff. So we really appreciate you being here. It's a nice resource to have. And then also I wanted to mention that there was somebody emailed me about this company, since we were talking about tearing down houses and having different structures in the township that we may look at and need to have torn down in the future. Woodstock, if you search, now they deal mainly in maybe an older barn or an older house. They're interested in the woods and the beams that come out. They'll come out and take the entire thing away and get rid of all the things that they don't need and reuse it as buildable materials. And so before we tear anything down, and we want to take a second look at what is the year of the structure and maybe give them a call, see if they can recycle and reuse. So it was very interesting to go to that site and take a look at some of the things they do.
There are local people that also do that. So if you get called on it, I could share some more.
Okay. Good. Yes, I'm finished. I think.
Already, lots of you met with that winter conference discussion to see how many townships have sent fire chiefs and zoning inspector, and I'm wondering if we would...
My only dilemma is getting the time from work. I can't leave it because it's during the middle of the week, and it's usually to change right around when the conferences are, when the...
Certainly, if anybody
semesters are.
attended, Chief, it would be something
Yeah.
that your schedule wouldn't allow, but if we had an assistant, maybe somebody that we've seen a lot of in the last, there's the last conference.
A lot of information there for zoning also. A lot of seminars are given in that area. Do we want to send our zoning inspector down?
So it's a little late this year.
What's that? It's late.
I would say it was a little late this year. He's not free.
Well, we could go call it late registration.
Do you want to go?
No, send it, Chief.
I had to change the zoning night.
I'm sorry.
Change the zoning night.
I hear they have donuts.
Or we come down for one day or
Fine, fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
Let me get a list of, let me get a list of what's going on down there. Yeah. I'll get it over to you.
Okay.
Let's under the fire department. Chief, if we got information, you, maybe a representative.
Yeah, I could try, I can ask. It certainly wouldn't hurt to ask.
And there is an issue of late registration.
It would be better to go down for one day?
Yeah, most of the classes this year are falling on Thursday.
Yeah, the third big day would be Thursday, usually Friday's right.
Yeah,
It's just, yeah. Yeah, Karen.
Isn't that schedule online?
One day.
If they go online, they can look to see what the schedule is when they want to go,
Yeah.
and the cost.
Mr. Chairman, do we want to make a motion to approve expenses as represented?
Yeah. I'll make so desire to go.
And it's workable as far as the
A fire department representative and a zoning
A zoning inspector.
inspector.
If we can work out with the late fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who made the motion?
Kurt did.
Okay, I'll second it.
Now vote on that, Laura?
Yes.
Hardy?
Yes.
Kurt, yes. The vote
And that's to
is
approve all their mileage, expenses, meals.
Pardon.
Mr. Chairman, before you adjourn, following up on what Kurt was talking about with the marquee, is there a chance that we could put on there the night of the races for the Western Reserve boosters?
Yeah, I think that would be a...
Be a nice way to look back. I'll go over that with you, Kurt.
Okay.
Okay. And then last but not least, I have calendars from the Historical Society if anybody's interested. They're $8.50 a piece, and if anybody needs them, I have. That's all I have.
Thank you. The next regular meeting will be February 8th here at 7 p.m. And with no further business to discuss, I will adjourn this meeting at 8:10. Thank you for coming.